Hey guys, it's Audra and welcome back to 365 Projects. I am here today with my TBR for January and for Read Yo Shelves. So there are a couple YouTubers, Kathy and then her friend, I'll list them down below, that take the month of January to read their shelves. And since I have this new setup, I thought it'd be fun to take part in that yet again this year and kind of get back into the swing of things for 2020. And so I have my full board filled out, and of course I'm going to have duplicates because I knew that one book for each different category was going to be too difficult for sure. And so I have at least 2 or 3, maybe sometimes even 4 different slots that each book of these will count for. I think I have 8. I also will have at the very end 2 books that are library books that I definitely want to get to this month, as well as a new jar of every single book on these shelves I have not read yet, which is a lot more than I thought. So let's just get into the TBR for Read Your Shelves. The first spot on the bingo board is Gift, and for that one I'm going to go with Rising Strong by Brene Brown. This is one I've already started, but I really am enjoying it. I want to get more into it. It's about basically telling your story, being brave, and part of that was the gift portion of that. This is from my friend Stacy. She gave this to me as I was starting my cancer journey back in 2016 and encouraged me to write my story. I haven't done that quite yet. Journaling along the way was too hard because of chemo. It totally wrecks the way your brain works. So I want to eventually do that, and maybe this might be the year to do so. We'll see. This could push me in that direction. But I'm excited that the audiobook is actually read by Brene Brown, and so it's really good. I just need to finish it, and this is the perfect opportunity to do so. And the other category this will go for is Fantastic Title. I just like the title. I don't know that there's much else to explain with that other than I feel like this is a great one to go into the new year with. The second box on that first row is Meaning to Read, and I have been meaning to read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston since it came out. This, if you have not heard of before, I'm not quite sure how you haven't here on BookTube, but it is America's first son falling in love with the Prince of Wales. It's an enemies to lover. It is a little bit heftier. I tried the audiobook. I didn't like it, which I've heard from some other people, and so I'm just going to go through the physical read, which I've been doing more of lately, and so I'm excited to get to this one. This is also going to count for, I think, 2 other ones. A 2019 release, because it did come out last year, and paperback. It is that amazing floppy paperback. And once again, working our way across that top row, in the middle is Diverse, and for that I'm going to go with Here to Stay by Sarah Farzan. I'm working on a list of books that could possibly be like state award books for next year in like the YA category, so this is on there. But this is about an Iranian American teen who is like the basketball star of his school, and he is cyberbullied, and there's like a picture of him like dressed as a terrorist or something along that lines. And obviously it's like the what happens afterwards and how the school supports him. And it's a pretty short read, but I'm excited to read it. And I can tell by the back that it's gonna be pretty funny. He has a good sense of humor, but also is not going to take anybody's crap. And so it's going to be a good read. This will also count for a new author. I've never read anything by her. It says she also wrote If You Could Be Mine, so I'll have to look that one up as well. And the last category will be Own Voices. That is Sarah, and she is also Iranian American. And so that will be the next one off of my list. We're almost done with that first row, and the next one is Sequel. Now, I don't read a whole lot of series, but I am working my way through Harry Potter. I thought I would be done by now. I'm not. I'm on the 4th book. I'm going to count it as sequel, even though it's not the 2nd book. It is the 4th book, and so I'm going to count it as that one. This is also for the next category in that row, a cover by. I specifically bought all of these Brian Selznick illustrated covers because I just like his work so much, and I found out that they were like a special edition anniversary set type of thing, so I had to buy them before I couldn't find them anymore because Target stopped carrying them. So this is definitely a cover by. It's also going to count for movie. I need to still watch the first 3 movies, hopefully get a refresher course because it's been several months since I have picked a Harry Potter book up, and so I want that refresher course, but then I will of course then watch the 4th one when I am done with this. Additionally, will be a reread for me because I read them 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, over 10 years ago. when I was doing my student teaching and all the fourth graders were reading them, um, I stupidly got halfway through the sixth book and stopped. Didn't finish the sixth book, didn't do the seventh, and I've simply forgotten everything, so I'm rereading them. So I've read this before, rereading this one. And then this is over 5 years old, so that will count for that spot. And I think that is it. Let me do a quick check. Yes, that was it. That is still 5 boxes that one book will tick off, which is great. It is pretty chunky. I have it on audiobook. The audiobook narrator is fantastic. If you have never listened to Harry Potter books before, definitely give it a try because the audiobooks are great. But yeah, so we're ready to move on to the second row finally. But I know we've gotten through a lot of other boxes as we've done this. The first one on that row is green, and none of my books accidentally had green on them until I looked very, very closely, and that is going to be My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. I believe the sequel to this comes out this month as well. You can see there's a teeny tiny bit of green on her earring. It's a very pretty color of green. But that is that one. It will also count for graphic novel because it is all in graphics. I've heard nothing but great things, 5 stars about that, the illustrations as well as the story. And then I'm also going to count this for Where Did I Get? That is one of the challenges on the bingo board. Um, I honestly am not for certain where I got this. My assumption would be Amazon, but it was the only one that I couldn't like exactly pinpoint of like, oh, I got this on a book spree during a chemo treatment, or I just ordered on Book Outlet, or I bought it when it came out on Amazon. Like, I'm not exactly sure. I could guess, but we're going to count it anyway, so it takes care of that box. But that is the next book on my list. Moving over to the second box in the second row is Bought New, and for that I'm going to use No Exit by Taylor Adams. It is a Book of the Month book, so obviously those come new. I believe it was, December 2018, so it is an older one. Well, not too old, but you know what I mean. This is a psychological thriller, and I've already started it, and oh my goodness. It starts off like where you think a thriller would end, with like knowing who has done the crime, essentially. But just know that this is about a girl who is leaving Colorado to go and see her mother, who is fighting pancreatic cancer. And there's a huge storm. She has to leave the highway and go off on this exit and go to this rest stop. When she gets there, she accidentally stumbles across this vehicle that has a young girl inside of a cage in it. And she's trying to figure out who inside the rest stop has that car, um, figure out what's going on, how to save the girl, how to not get herself hurt in the process. And it is good so far. I'm hoping that it sticks all the way through because this is also going to count for my own category because it is a book club book. So that's going to be the category I use. My Dragon Boat team has selected this as our first book in our book club, and so I'm excited to talk about this with all of my other friends that are Dragon Boat ladies and breast cancer warriors. So we like good books, and thrillers seem to be like the go-to, and this would be perfect for winter, even though it's not really wintry here right now. But it is good. I hope to finish it in the next couple days, actually. Moving over to the last part of the second row, we have a recommended book by a friend, and I'm going to go with Year of Yes by Sandra Rhimes. I had already had this on my list and on my shelves, and then the speech pathologist at our school loves this book. She reads it every single year, and I've started it as well. I need to finish it, as are some of these books for the beginning of the year. But that's okay. It says How to Dance It Out, Stand in the Sun, and Be Your Own Person. Sandra Rhimes is the woman who started Grey's Anatomy and I think Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. And it's just like the story of her saying yes for the entire year. Again, what a perfect start for 2020 to read a book on that topic. And so this is also going to count for a nonfiction book because it is essentially maybe a biography. We'll see what it kind of goes with. Maybe, I don't think it's listed as self-help. It's probably just biography. It will also go as a vacation buy. I can find anything that kind of went with all this other stuff that was a vacation buy. I don't go on a lot of vacations. When I do, I try to pick up a book from the airport, but I don't really have a whole lot of those left. I think that I got this during the summer, and as a teacher, I have a summer vacation because I know it came from Barnes & Noble, and where I was living, I would have to drive an hour to the city. So it could have been that, or it could have been during I got this before I started chemo. But if I got it during chemo, I'm going to consider that a vacation because I was not all there. I was in another world during that time of my life. So I am excited to get to this one and to finally finish it. And that means we have one more left, and that pops down to the last box in the third row. And that is an author that you love. And an author that I love is Neil Shusterman. And I have not read his book with his son, Jared, and it is called Dry. The books I love of his are the Scythe series as well as Unwind. And this one terrifies me to the core. It's a dystopian, which doesn't seem all that off at all because I've started this. The audiobook is great. I can't recommend that one enough. But it is about a tap out, which means that there's no more water, and it's the chaos that ensues of like what people do to get water and to survive during that time. It is terrifying. It gives me chills just talking about it. But again, this is a book that's a possibility for the award list for YA next year in my state, and so I'm reading that, but also like needing a drink right now because it's terrifying. That's all I gotta say. So it's coming for this, the category of author I love, and then also a hardcover book because it is hardcover. So those are the 8 books I definitely want to get to for Read Your Shelves so I can fill out the entire bingo board or do my best trying. There are a couple books in the library I would like to get to this month, and both of them are nonfiction. The first one is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. You have probably seen this book or the preview coming out for the new movie for various reasons, but this is a book that an investigator, who is the author, is talking about a man who was convicted of murder and sentenced to die for a murder he did not commit, and it's all about the commentary, like the racial injustice behind it, wrongfully accused, conspiracy or non-conspiracy, I guess, of governments just like trying to find a person to blame for it and not doing their part to actually convict the correct people. It's just going to be a lot of the criminal justice system. So I want to read this. I want to see the movie. I've heard nothing but great things, and I know it's going to be definitely a hard read for sure. The second nonfiction book from the library will be Atomic Habits by James Clear. Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. This is a book that has kind of been more on the teacher Instagram side of one of my favorite librarians reading it, loving it, constantly sharing quotes, everybody buying it because of her recommendation. And again, it's another great book to start 2020 with. And hopefully we're going to quickly go through the TBR jar. So like I said, these are the books I have not read on the shelf. My plan is to pick 3, and if I don't read them each month, then I will unhaul them unless there's like an extenuating circumstance of I want to save it for a readathon, I need to save it for a certain like time of the year, it was a gift, I need to read it, or it's signed. So we'll kind of see how this goes. There's a lot in here. I may, if I find one in here that is good to replace a challenge on the Read Your Shelves, we'll try that, but we'll see how this goes. I make no promises. The first one is Walking with Miss Millie. So this is Walking with Miss Millie. It is by Tamara Bundy. It is not going to be one that replaces anything. It is a middle grade, so hopefully it'll go quick. It's actually on the award list for middle grade at my school this year, and I have not yet read it. Yeah, bad librarian. This is basically the story of, believe it's in the 60s. It's this little girl that befriends this elderly lady in her neighborhood, and then people say they can't be friends because the little girl's white and the elderly lady is black, and it's just a lot of back and forth between that, and they become friends and they talk about life while they're walking the old woman's dog, who is Miss Millie, and so it'll be good, and we'll get that one taken care of. We'll see what is next. I dropped one, so we need to pick that one up. Lily and Duncan. It's another middle grade. 1 second. And so this is Lily and Duncan by Donna Gephardt, another one that I've been wanting to read for a long time, just haven't got to. This is a diverse middle grade because you have Lily, who is a girl born in a boy's body, as it says in the inside dust jacket. And then you have Duncan, who's bipolar, and it's just the story of their friendship. From what I have heard, I'm excited to get to it. It is a bit chunkier for middle grade, but hopefully there's the audiobook to get through that one as well. And we have one more to pick, so let's go all the way to the bottom. This is it. I'm kind of nervous. Law's Orchestra Saves the World. And here you have Law's Orchestra Saves the World by Alexander McCall Smith. This one was originally gifted to me by my friend Jamie, so maybe that could take over that spot. We will see. It definitely will not be one that I get rid of if I don't make it through because it's a gift, but then also I did meet the author and have it signed during a library event that he hosted just down the street from me. This is a World War II story about an orchestra that kind of saves a community, and I'm assuming it's a feel-good story. He has a great sense of humor in person, so I'm hoping that portrays on books. And so these are the three choices from the TBR jar. Yeah, I hope to get through all of them. I guess if I have to unhaul them, if I don't, I can just take these two to school to add to my personal work collection. We'll see how that goes. And so with that, that makes 13 books on my TBR for this month. That is a lot for me. So I need to go get reading, but before I do that, please let me know what you plan on reading this month, or if you would like to read any of these books with me, maybe in like a buddy read situation, or just chatting about them when we're done. Would love to talk to you in the comments below. Yeah, I will see you in the next one. Good luck on your first month of 2020. Bye, guys.